Welcome, dear friend. Tonight, we will take a journey together to a peaceful, timeless place, a quiet village by the sea, where the waves are soft, the air is calm, and the night stretches out like a blanket of stars. Before we begin, take a slow, deep breath in and gently let it out. Notice how your body feels a little heavier with each breath. Allow your shoulders to soften, your hands to rest, and your thoughts to drift like leaves floating on a gentle tide. There is no rush now, no need to hold on to anything from the day. Everything can wait until tomorrow. This moment is only for you, a gift of stillness, a gentle space to rest. As you listen to the story, let the images unfold in your mind like dreams. If your thoughts wander, that's perfectly fine. Just let them pass by like clouds across the sky and return to the calm rhythm of the words. Tonight's story will guide you through a village where time moves slowly, where the sea hums softly, and where every path leads you closer to peace. So settle in, make yourself comfortable, and allow the story to carry you, like a small boat carried gently on the tide toward the calm waters of sleep. The village at dusk. On the edge of a wide, calm bay, there sat a small village with cobblestone streets that wound gently down toward the shore. The houses were simple but warm, whitewashed walls with ivy climbing up their sides, and windows glowing softly with candlelight as the evening approached. At the center of the village, a bell tower stood, its bronze bell chiming gently to mark the end of the day. The sound was slow and melodic, as if it had rung that way for centuries, calling the villagers home for supper, reminding them that night had come. Along the shoreline, fishing boats bobbed lazily in the tide, their sails folded, their ropes creaking softly in the salty breeze. Gulls had settled on the rooftops, tucking their wings in for the night, and the world was wrapped in the quiet hush of twilight. The seaside cottage. On the far edge of the village, just beyond a winding path of smooth stones, there was a small seaside cottage. Its roof was made of weathered red tiles, its garden filled with lavender and wild rosemary, and the little chimney puffed out the faintest curl of wood smoke. Inside, the cottage was warm and welcoming. A fire crackled in the hearth, filling the room with a golden glow. On the shelves sat jars of herbs, seashells collected from the shore, and books whose pages smelled faintly of the sea. A kettle sat on the stove, gently steaming, ready to pour into a cup of chamomile tea. The cottage belonged to an old storyteller who was known throughout the village not only for their tales, but for the kindness in their voice and the calm that seemed to follow them wherever they went. Tonight, the storyteller was preparing to share a tale, one that drifted like the tide itself, soft, unhurried, and soothing. The story within the story. The storyteller's tale began with a little ship, no bigger than a fishing boat, that once set out from the village long ago. The ship wasn't made for adventure, but rather for quiet journeys along the coastline, delivering baskets of bread, jars of honey, and hand-woven blankets to neighboring villages. Each morning the ship would leave as the sun rose, and each evening it would return, its sails carrying the scent of the sea. But one night, as the moon rose high above the water, the little ship decided to keep sailing, not far, but just far enough to see the sea glowing with silver light. The waves were calm, the stars above shimmered in countless numbers, and the ship drifted gently along, guided by nothing but the rhythm of the tide. On board, lanterns flickered softly, like golden stars floating on the surface of the water. The storyteller paused, sipping their tea, letting the sound of the fire fill the silence, before continuing. The lull of the sea. As the ship drifted, it passed rocky cliffs where seabirds nested and called softly in the night. It passed sandy shores where the tide lapped in slow, even breaths, as though the sea itself were sleeping. Soon the ship reached a small island, no bigger than a meadow, with soft grass and tall swaying pines. The sailors, gentle souls, with no rush in their hearts, tied the ship to a smooth stone and stepped ashore. They lit a fire on the beach, not bright or loud, but just enough to keep them warm. Around it they shared stories, sang quiet songs, and watched the waves roll in and out. Time itself seemed to pause on that little island, as though the whole world was resting beside them.
Returning home. At last, when dawn began to tint the sky with pale pink and soft gold, the sailors returned to their ship. The lanterns still glowed, though faintly now in the growing light, and the sea carried them gently back toward the village. As they approached, they could see the rooftops catching the first rays of the morning sun, the bell tower standing tall, and the smell of bread baking drifting from open windows. The villagers were beginning their day, unaware that their little ship had drifted into the heart of the night and returned, carrying stories with it. The storyteller leaned back in their chair, their eyes half closed, and whispered, "The sea, like sleep, will always carry you back home." And now our journey comes to a close. The little village by the sea is quiet. The ships are safely resting in their harbor, and the lanterns in the windows glow softly against the night. The sea continues its gentle rhythm, waves rolling in and out like a lullaby as old as time itself. The sky above is deep and still, scattered with stars that watch quietly over the world. Everything is calm. Everything is safe. As you drift into sleep, imagine that you are there, warm in a small cottage by the shore, wrapped in blankets, listening to the fire's soft crackle and the ocean's eternal song. You have nothing to do, nowhere to go. The night is yours to rest, to dream, to be held in peace. If sleep has not yet come, let the sound of your breath become the tide itself, slow and steady. Each inhale brings in comfort. Each exhale releases the weight of the day. Over and over until your body melts deeper into stillness. Rest now, dear one. You are safe. You are cared for. You are home. May your dreams be gentle. May your night be peaceful. And may you awaken refreshed, renewed, and calm. Good night.